Today, we're speaking with Tony Francetic, Senior Manager of Solutions Consulting at Thomson Reuters, the world's leading provider of news and information-based tools to professionals. Tony is an expert in all things pre-sales and focuses on improving communication, presentation skills, and sales skills. He's also an ambassador for the Presales Collective.
Thank you for the warm welcome. It's good to be continuing to advocate for the Presales community. But yeah, I've been with Thomson Reuters it's going to be 10 years coming up soon in January, and kind of meandered my way through different divisions from our support world to training consulting and now into the solution consulting world. So it's been a fun path, and find out that my journalism background applies quite well to pre-sales. So no, happy to be here for sure.
What are some of your favorite tips and tricks for SEs right now?
And I'll be partial to the journalism side, but I'm a big question, like getting the right question in front of people. So I think the more that SEs can focus on understanding the industry that they're supporting and being able to craft those needs analysis type questions around what's important to the customer, that's been the primary focus. And we've worked pretty closely on kind of pushing that downstream into the sales reps to help with their qualification stages too. So I think understanding where the business is coming from, what is most important to them, and then angling towards how you help solve those problems, that's at the core of it. Certainly there's a presentation component, and there's a big part of my background is train the trainer, and I have a passion for kind of understanding how to communicate people for value and working through the energy that's in your presentations. I post stuff on LinkedIn all the time around that. You got to bring it every day. You've got to be able to have that energy, because it doesn't matter if you have a bad day, there's something wrong at home. You've got to bring your best for that customer, because that's the experience and that's the time that you have to represent your company. So I would say energy alongside the questioning.
What are some positive trends you're seeing with pre-sales this year?
It's been a personal mission of mine to move along the influence model. If I look back 4 or 5 years ago, my team was primarily known for doing the demos in the sales division, right? Like almost in a subservient way of sorts. And what I've noticed more of this year, and thankfully kind of advocated internally at my own company, but to be recognized as an influencer in the business. My elevator pitch for solution consulting is to do the job well. They've got to know marketing messaging to be consistent in what we convey to customers. We've got to know product roadmaps for long-term vision and value setting. We've got to know the industry and trends that are happening to connect with that. We've got to know the products we support. We've got to have presentation skills and sales acumen. And there's this big world that we're all involved in. I think that what most companies that don't have their pre-sales kind of set in a different role take for granted is that there's so much insight that pre-sales gathers from their interactions with prospective customers that can influence marketing, campaign development, and strategy. It can influence product roadmaps and align those future updates or features benefits to what customers actually want. Your messaging, your product marketing teams or customer propositions, another group like that, where you're bundling, packaging, pricing, and putting those things together. Well, all of the interactions that a pre-sales team has with a prospective customer is going to know what they like and they don't like about your solution and the one that they're using, and those other components of the whole life cycle of where that customer touches your company. So what I've found most, gratifying this year is that there's a lot more of that attention being given to pre-sales as an influencer in a business, not just a component of the sales division.
What are some trends you already see end this year for pre-sales?
Harbor tours, right? Get rid of the overview demos. I know that's probably the standard answer that everybody gives. I think it's a disservice to the customer, right? Like if you think about what that customer journey is from end to end, they're going to engage with somebody in the marketing division. Maybe they're just, downloading a white paper, or they do a lead capture form, or maybe it's a BDR. And to get in the sales division, they're going to have a couple potential touches there where they're going to have some questions asked about it and what's important to them. If you get a good pre-sales person, they're going to ask those again, right? And if we don't have a good, clear target by the time it gets to the demo, we do an overview, then we're following up with that again of what did you see that was important? And now we're into like the third, maybe fourth iteration of what's important to you. And then depending on your CRM, and if you have good note-taking opportunities, then post-sale even, then the implementation team is going to say that again and what's important to you. So I think if we look at that holistic customer journey, would love to change the siloed approach to it and look at it as a single customer experience from marketing to sales to implementation and beyond.
What are some of your favorite resources or toolings for SEs?
There's such a great pre-sales community that's out there. Obviously, I'm part of the Presales Collective, but there's tons of other groups that are out there too around the globe. And it's so cool to see the way that people in this industry support one another, right? Like I mentioned, my team wanting to be helpers. And I actually have a stupid hashtag in my email signature. That's how can I help? But the truth of the matter is, like, I've had plenty of senior executives in other companies in the pre-sales world where I've connected on LinkedIn and just asked a question and we've set time and talked. Yeah, sure. Let's figure out a time to connect. That's just, it's so foreign, I guess, to a lot of people where you think like that upper echelon of business, like they don't communicate that way with, the lower level folk, right? Like if I'm a peon in the industry and there's someone who's, got a big title on top of it and they're willing to have that conversation because we share the pre-sales world, like as much as SEs can leverage the community that's out there and find a local chapter of any of the groups that are out there. Like I started through LinkedIn, just kind of looking for pre-sales. They have all over the globe places to connect with. And there's great people. There's great resources that have been in the market for a long time too. You look at some of the titans of the pre-sales world with your John Kerrs and Peter Collins, and there's books out there on the methodology of how to manage through this. If you're interested in transitioning into that pre-sales community, the resources are there. And then you have folks who are joining into that authorship. Patrick Pisang's another one who's got several books out there that have been great to see, like, how do you navigate through the old school methodology of things, like, find out what's most important to the customer and focusing on that, but then transition it to like, how do you brand yourself and use social in sales engineering? What does that mean to kind of be in this kind of new age technology where we're not just doing this over the phone? There's Chris White, who's got the 6 Habits of Highly Effective Sales Engineers, right? Like there's all these resources in the industry that people can lean on. So, find somewhere you're comfortable with, connect with an SE community, and find some people that are out there to help you along the journey.
Give a plug to anyone looking to keep up to speed on global developments and legal, regulatory, and tax changes.
Sure. I mean, for my company specifically, like we've got branches that go off in multiple divisions. There's a legal segment that we serve, a corporates division. I'm in the tax and accounting group. We've got Reuters News. We've got a print division that's actually based at MSP with a big giant printing facility. Is like numbered in the top 10 in the country. So there's a lot of places that Thomson Reuters is definitely cool, and there's always opportunities there. So there's a career site at Thomson Reuters is always a place to go to look to grow careers. But I always like to focus back in on the pre-sales side, and where there's an opportunity to connect with people. I'd kind of corny and post some hashtags weekly where I've got like Monday motivation, Wednesday wisdom, and FaceTime Fridays. Like I try and promote like some positive attitude for things and what we can do to continue to advocate for the industry. So find me on LinkedIn if there's additional things and can point you in the right directions. If there's questions or anything I can help with, I'm always game.